So MAGA is still out there fighting their culture wars. And they got the House, they got the Senate, they got the presidency, they got the Supreme Court, hell, they got the popular vote. But they're still out there fighting their culture wars. And I've had some people say to me, Brando, they sure are sore winners. They won this thing, but they're still being sore about it. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason why they have to keep these culture wars going is because the only way they can survive is to have an enemy. So now Nancy Mace has came out with a bill that she says is directly targeted at Sarah McBride, who is the first trans congresswoman. And she wants to make sure that she doesn't use the bathroom with her. And the reason they do this is because it's their entire identity. And one of the criticisms that I'm seeing of Kamala Harris that is way off base, and I don't understand how anyone can say this, they'll say the reason Kamala lost is because of woke, because she was too woke and she embraced that. No, Kamala Harris ran on jobs, she ran on the economy, she ran on everything that MAGA claimed they cared about. She ran on border security, she ran on fixing the problems that they said don't fix till we can elect Trump. She ran on all of those things. She did not dip into the culture wars. Yes, she talked about abortion, but I don't count that as a culture war. That's women's rights. That's them making their medical decision. It's not Kid Rock going out and blowing up cans of Bud Light. That's two different things, completely different worlds. So to say that that's why she lost is ridiculous to me. She ran on what mattered to the American people. But MAGA has to have their culture wars. And Nancy Mace realizes this. And it's going to be interesting going forward to see, because they've got it all. They've got it all, so you would think now they would just roll with it. But they can't, because they always have to have that boogeyman. They always have to have something that they go after to get people in my part of the world and all over this country stirred up and continuing to vote against their own interest. But wouldn't their followers ever stop and question, wait a minute, you guys are in complete control. You guys got it all. The president's got immunity. So why are we even having to fight these culture wars? Where's the threat? They never stop and think these things through. These are people who cause us snowflakes on a daily basis. They sit and call us snowflakes. They say that we're the ones that gets emotional and we're the ones that votes based on our feelings. That's bullshit. If anyone ever voted on their feelings and emotions, it's MAGA. Remember, they had the phrase, they coined the phrase, fuck your feelings. You remember that? Well, their entire identity, their entire political identity is their feelings and their emotions. They sure as hell don't vote on facts. They sure as hell don't vote on who would be better for the economy or better for this country. They voted based on their fear. We sit here and made video after video after video pointing at Trump being hyperbolic. While we were being gaslit and told we were the ones being hyperbolic, but we were showing Trump stoking nothing but fear in them the entire way. And that's what they chose over everything else. They chose that fear. They chose that paranoia. They chose their emotions over facts and over reality. And you watch on January 20th, before he even picks up a pen, hell, they're already saying it now, that the country's great, the economy's booming because he's coming back. And you watch before he even picks up a pen on January 20th, they will be saying that America is great again and we're the best nation in the world. But there's a problem when they say that. They don't have an enemy. They're Stone Cold with no Mr. McMahon. They're Hulk Hogan with no Roddy Piper. So now what do? Well, let's target the first trans congresswoman. Let's make a big deal out of that. Let's get everyone talking about that. And let's distract them from what we're really doing behind closed doors. And that's really what it is at the end of the day. It's all a distraction from the real world. And we're sitting back watching Donald Trump appoint this cabinet of clowns, the worst of people. And we can sit here and point out the obvious about all these people, but the glaring obvious fact is that they want people in there who will destroy it. They want people in there who's going to tear it down. They want people in there who's going to erase all the progress we've made because they voted with their feelings, they voted with their emotions, and they did not accept the progress because they were told that was all fake news. They were told none of that was real. And they were told that all that progress was going to take their livelihood away from them. It's completely ridiculous. People in my part of the world thought that if a black man made it in this world, that somehow that affected them. It doesn't. They thought if we recognized a black man's struggle that we meant they weren't struggling. We never said that. I have never said that people, poor white people here in Appalachia, don't struggle. I've never said that. They do. When we point to other groups of people and say they've got it hard too and we need to work together, we're doing that because we really do believe in America and what it truly stands for, and we believe in democracy and what it truly stands for, and we don't think people should have a handout. We think they should have a better hand in this world to play. And so we believe in working together and coming together and making decisions based on facts and evidence and science, and not our feelings, and not some crazy cult leader up there just barking at us and getting us scared of anything that we don't understand. So I'm not going to let them sit here and call us snowflakes when we're the ones that will take time to learn and to understand and to figure things out. And how can we make this better for everybody, including them who have kicked and screamed every step of the way? We're still reasonable enough people that had Kamala Harris won this election, we would still be trying to figure out, okay, how do we help everybody? And yeah, these people over here that's screaming to the top of their lungs that it was all fake and rigged against them, how do we help them too? But they're looking at how can they tear us down? How can they destroy us? Since the election, I've had more hate mail than I've ever had. I have more hate mail now. I've had death threats too since the election. Not before. I mean, I'd had them before, don't get me wrong, but they picked up steam after he won it. And I'm going, you guys won. What threat do you think I pose to you now if you're really the winner? But they've been trained to have that boogeyman. They've been taught to fear everything they don't understand, and they vote solely on their emotions. And the people like Nancy Mace knows this. So we're going to be in for this. They've got it all. They've got full control. But you watch. They'll sit there, and this won't be the first story we hear like this. People like Nancy Mace, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like Lauren Boebert, the Maga, stronghold, they will sit here and they will create every culture war they can, and they will point to their followers and say, hey, look at this trans woman trying to use the bathroom. Hey, look at this person over here just trying to eat and be left alone. They'll point to that stuff because they have to have it in order for MAGA to thrive. So I've had people say, Brando, find the silver lining, make us feel better about it. Well, if there's a silver lining anywhere, it's that they're going to have to, they've got it now. So they're going to have to deliver one way or another. And if they do deliver, they're going to piss off their own people because it's going to affect them eventually. And if they don't deliver, they're going to piss off their own people. And they're already getting pissed off at one another. I've got a video that I'm going to be making later about Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying, hey, if you guys don't get behind Matt Gaetz, I'm going to tell on you. So they're going to destroy one another. But in the meantime, what sucks is all the people's lives is going to be destroyed because this clown show is now in there. And that's exactly what it is. There is no logic to any of this. You can't make it make sense. Don't even try. And when I try to think about it, look at his cabinet of clowns and go, dang, man, like what a mess we're in. I think back on 2020, and I got to be honest with you guys, I don't even remember Joe Biden picking his cabinet. You know why? Because I was too busy worried about whether or not Joe Biden would actually take the oath. I didn't know if he would make it or not, because I was still thinking Trump would stand in his way because he wouldn't give us the peaceful transfer of power. And we had to sit back and watch January 6th unfold. Why? Because they got caught up in those culture wars. They got caught up in their feelings. Don't ever let them gaslight you and tell you that you got caught up in yours and that you're being emotional right now, and for you to stop whining and calm down, when they spent their entire identity doing nothing but whining, and they're still whining with complete control. They're still whining, and they're still creating enemies, and they're still creating boogeymen, and they're still fighting culture wars. And I guarantee you, Kid Rock is just waiting for a product that he can light on fire and start all over again, because they have to have that to thrive. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we're in now, but we're going to continue to be a voice of reason, and we're going to continue to move the conversation forward and recognize these people for who they are and recognize what we're up against. And that's all we can do, folks. But I appreciate you guys so much for getting me over 400,000 subscribers. We're headed toward 500,000. I never thought we would be here. I want to thank everyone, too, who has followed over on the Blue Sky app. That's turned out to be a cool place to be. And shout out to the Midas Touch Network for putting me in the Midas Touch starter pack. My phone just started pinging like crazy because I hadn't turned off the notifications for Blue Sky yet, and it started pinging, and I was like, wait a minute, someone shared this thing. And so last time I looked was over 65,000. We made it into the top 500 accounts over there. And that got me to thinking, well, where are we ranked in YouTube? And turns out we're ranked 5,000 out of like 62 million. I've seen different numbers, 61, 62, 63 million account of, content creators. So you guys have helped me to get here, and I truly appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, be sure to join us over on Patreon. The link's in the bio. I put a lot of cool stuff over there. A lot of times we do a lot of non-political content just to get away from the madness. I've even struck up the grill over on Patreon, and it's hard to tell. I've reviewed cigars. I've played some music. So we got to have something. We got to have some kind of way to go over and get our mind off all this, because they're going to continue to fight these phony culture wars, because that's all they have at the end of the day.